everybody? How we doing for a live Around the Ropes podcast episode right here on the new ATR network? As always, you guys know where to find us on social media. Just search for Around the Ropes podcast. You can find us on any social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, you name it, we're there. And of course, guys, my tag team partner for this evening is the man who will be the ring announcer for Creative Pro this coming weekend. He is one of the best goddamn ring announcers out there. He is a god. He is a legend. The one, Mr. Ryan Peterson. Ryan, what's going on?
I wouldn't say God, but thank you for that amazing introduction. We will be, as Jon said, I am the announcer for numerous promotions, including Creative Pro Wrestling, which we will discuss later on this evening.
But, Ryan, how you been, buddy? I know it's only been, 4 hours since I've seen you?
Hey, listen, I'm decompressed and I'm ready to talk about what the hell's been going on in the world of wrestling.
But now, folks, actually, before we get to that, Ryan, I got a question for you.
Sure.
When can we make a trip to Puerto Rico?
Soon. I've always wanted to go to Puerto Rico, but after what transpired this past weekend, yeah, I definitely need to go.
Guys, let's get right into it. We're not gonna goof around anymore, guys. We're gonna get right into it because we want to get right into what happened Backlash on Saturday. And the first thing I want to get to is what happened at the end, not with Brock and Cody, because I still think that should not have been the main event. To me, the main event of Saturday night should have been Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. I don't care what anybody says. To me, Brock and Cody, yes, you have the star power there. I'm not saying you don't. But you look at
where they are
and Bad Bunny. You had the emotional investment, which is one thing, Ryan, I talk about on the show weekly, is emotional investment. And I think, as you saw in our thumbnail, which I'll put up one more time, you would have closed out with that image. You would have left the fans going home happy. But before we dive into some of the matches, I want to get your take from 30,000 feet above. How did you think Saturday's event went?
From 30,000 feet above?
Yeah.
So, again, first of all, when are we going to Puerto Rico? But, no, in all seriousness, the fact that they sold out both nights, because they were at SmackDown the night before on that Friday. Yeah. I think it was almost 17,000 on Friday and almost 18,000 on Saturday.
Yeah, it sounds. Sounds
I think almost 35,000 people in 2 days, which is impressive.
Yes.
And also just the energy from the crowd was incredible.
Because you know what's funny? Can I tell you why?
They know exactly why. They know wrestling.
Because you have to remember, in Puerto Rico, a lot of especially you're talking more about the older fans.
Oh, yeah.
To them, wrestling is real.
I know.
Go back to the stories from back in the 70s and 80s when you had stories about guys like what's his face, Bruiser Brody, and those guys. And I remember hearing stories about the heels back then who legit who they were supposed to. I mean, a great example. He was actually at the 80s WrestleCon this past week, which we'll get to that later on. George Napolitano. I don't know if that name sounds familiar, Ryan.
It does.
He was one of the first photographers, and who was, he was the pioneer of wrestling photography.
Mm-hmm.
And he went down there. I've heard stories from back in the 70s. And you saw the pictures that were on Pro Wrestling, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, I think it was, like one of the wrestling magazines. And every picture you saw from Puerto Rico, they were all bloody, and you saw the crimson red.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I loved. What we saw on Saturday is you had that emotion behind it. I mean, the fact that you had, I think it was 17. Yeah, what'd you say, about 18,000 on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
That were singing Bad Bunny's entrance music.
That blew me away. I'm like, oh shit! Okay.
Now I think that's his own. I don't remember what was his entrance music. Was it the Booker T song?
No, I think it was one of his other hits.
But I think the thing is the fact that we're praising somebody who's not a wrestler, so to speak, shows you how good of a damn good wrestler he is.
Yeah, because unlike most celebrities, he actually put in the time and effort to actually make something happen.
I'll say this right now, and I've heard this from a few other people, and I agree. I think right now, Logan, Logan Paul, you can make the argument too, but I think Bad Bunny, after what we saw on Saturday, can go down as probably the greatest celebrity wrestler of all time.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you also have to remember his match he had with Damian Priest on, and yes, as much as we're praising Bad Bunny, we also have to give praise to Damian Priest.
Oh my God.
The fact that you had a 25-minute match with somebody who's not a wrestler per se, I mean, you got to tip your hat off to freaking Damian Priest too. I mean, the fact that he basically, but then not only that, you also had the LWO, but you also had somebody who likes to spit in the face of people with an apple.
Mm-hmm.
Who I'm going to say right now, Carlito looks like he's in phenomenal shape.
I agree. And let's not forget the massive pop that he got when he came out.
Which I heard, by the way, through the rumblings, that's only going to be a one-off.
Yeah.
But apparently, there's already been talks about him coming back.
I would be okay with it.
Got our first comment coming in. Let me bring it up quickly. It's our buddy David over across the pond. He goes, "Hey, Jon Ryan, how's it going, guys? Well, I've got to say I'm very, very impressed with Backlash in Puerto Rico. The crowd alone was absolutely electric." Yeah, David, I agree with you 100% on that.
But, John, you're forgetting about one other person that came out during that matchup besides Carlito.
And that was actually somebody who I think, who actually just wrestled up in New Jersey recently.
And someone I've worked with on numerous occasions. He is an absolute legend in Puerto Rican wrestling, pretty much the godfather of Puerto Rican wrestling. And that is the Los Boricua himself, Savio Vega.
But the fact that, I mean, he's somebody, yes, was he a big name in the 90s? Depends on what era you watched it in. But I think what made it perfect was where they were.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said,
he's the godfather of Puerto Rican wrestling because he was wrestling down there in the 80s. He's still wrestling there. He has his own promotion down there.
I think if you would have done Backlash, let's say anywhere else other than Puerto Rico, you would not have gotten that reaction.
No, absolutely not. That was planned out perfectly.
And the
fact that the match itself was top notch.
Yeah,
I kind of knew what to expect because we've seen Bad Bunny wrestle a few times, but we didn't expect him to go that far.
I'm going to throw this one out there, and this may get me a little bit chastised. And I know I know this is a pipe dream because of the fact that he does the music stuff. Would it be out of the realm of possibility to possibly see Bad Bunny go for a title?
Not necessary.
I'm saying not, but if let's say it were to happen, I'm not saying to have him go after Roman, not going that far. But let's say all of a sudden it came up that he was going after, the U.S. Championship, for example.
I don't know how fans would feel about that, honestly. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I think it would be a pipe dream because I don't think it would ever happen because he's becoming basically a multi-millionaire doing the music.
How about billionaire now?
Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it. But I think if you put a title on him, okay, I'm just going to lay this out here for a second. You put a title on him. I think not only, and I'm not saying you have to give him a long title. I'm not saying that. Because, like I said, I don't think wrestling is his full focus. I think it's going to be the music. That's going to be his full focus. You put a belt, you put the U.S. title on him, even for a couple of weeks. Do you realize how big WWE would get, especially in like that area? Because he would essentially be that connection to the mainstream media.
Yeah, but at the same time, for the hardcore wrestling fans that actually watch wrestling, obviously they'll be pissed because then they'll be like, what the fuck was, what the hell was the point of putting the title on someone for 2 weeks, brought a whole new audience. Congratulations. Then when Bad Bunny loses the title, that mainstream media goes away.
Yeah, but Brian, you have to realize something. Who does WWE cater towards?
Kids.
Not only kids. They don't cater towards a hardcore fan base.
Again, they cater towards kids.
They cater. I'll put it this way. I think the other way also. They cater towards the casual fan.
But again, like I said, if you put the title on Bad Bunny, yeah, you're gonna get that viewership. But then when the belt is gone and he's not gonna be on TV anymore, well, there goes that viewership.
Got another comment coming in from David saying, I was more impressed with Bad Bunny at Backlash than I was with Logan Paul at Mania. You know what's funny? David, you bring that up. I'm going to say this right now. Ryan, tell me if I'm wrong on this. The match quality on Backlash was better than Mania in certain aspects.
I agree.
And I think the other thing also we have to look at is Puerto Rico get another show, because I think they should get a show once a year.
Seriously, like I would not complain about that.
Okay, I got one for you. What about making Backlash basically the permanent home in Puerto Rico?
I see that.
Make it permanent. Make it, because you got to remember, Backlash is usually end of April, beginning of May, usually, give or take. You're not in hurricane season in Puerto Rico, so I wouldn't. Yes, I know, Ryan. I know I said to you at work a couple of days ago, why did you give them SummerSlam? But then I thought about it, I'm like, wait a second, hurricanes, duh. But why not give them back?
Oh, I didn't mention SummerSlam.
No, I mentioned SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
But I look this way, why not give them Backlash every year?
Yeah.
Almost, and it's going to sound morbid, but I'm going to say this. I would almost do a deal with Puerto Rico similar to what you do with your Saudi shows. Yes, I know it's morbid because of how the whole Saudi thing came to fruition. I understand that.
Ugh.
But you know damn well that you're going to get a sellout crowd every time. Why not?
Absolutely.
And also, and I know we were saying before about not giving them SummerSlam because you're in hurricane season. Why not give them a WrestleMania?
No.
I think that may be too small of a venue.
Too small. I don't think the island can actually handle all that volume.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, that was more of just me spitballing here. But okay, what about the Rumble?
No. Well, they did do like New Year's Revolution. That was the last pay-per-view that was there.
Yeah, that was what, 20-something years ago?
2005, I think. So
it was a while ago. It was a while ago.
But I think for the Rumble, they're focusing doing those in bigger stadiums.
Yeah, I think are they doing them in ballparks now? From what I remember,
I heard possibly the next Rumble or the Rumble after that might be in Orlando.
Yes, that I remember hearing. We got another comment in. Actually, let me go through the comments here quickly. David chimes in here, goes, I agree, John. Before about Puerto Rico getting Backlash. And David Zubin chimes in here going, hello, Zubin, how are you doing?
Hola. But speaking of hometown people like Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, there's one other name I want to bring up, and I was discussing with Jon earlier about this, and we both agreed. How about Zelina Vega with the reaction that she got?
Yes, and I know this caused a little bit of an argument between you and I.
Yeah, because folks, apparently Jon's theory is that the smart thing to do was to put the title on Zelina Vega.
Okay, can I explain why I was saying that?
Because they were in the islands of Puerto Rico and she is in the hometown. But here's the thing, WWE, they don't unless your name is Bad Bunny, they don't let you win in your hometown.
Okay, but then hold on. I just want to explain my point behind that, because I had a few people today when I told that to them too, thought I was crazy for thinking this.
Mm-hmm.
My thinking behind it is this, and we were kind of talking about this before we went live tonight. Yes, WWE right now is. I'm not saying it's bad stuff. I'm not saying that at all, and this is not me bitching about them at all. But I don't understand why we have to be so goddamn predictable here. Why it has to be the same. It almost becomes the same thing over and over and over again. I'm not saying Selena Vega has to get a long run with the title here. I'm not saying that at all. Selena Vega to me is somebody who is talented enough to be a champion. And yes, WWE has not used her in the proper way that I feel like they should have. But what I don't understand is why not give her a brief run? I think Rhea Ripley's at the point now where if she happened to have lost the title on Saturday, it would not have hurt her stock.
Kind of. With the way the Judgment Day has been going?
I disagree. I don't think it would have. Because like I said, I wouldn't. Then what you can do is on that Monday, instead of doing the thing with Dana Brooke, which I still think is ridiculous how they're treating her, you could have had Rhea Ripley come out, or you could have even done this. You could have done Selena Vega versus Dana Brooke, had Rhea Ripley come out, destroy both of them, look at Selena Vega and go, next week I'm getting a rematch, and then that's where you have Rhea reclaim the title. Let her have that moment.
But here's the thing, though. If you pull that route, then first of all, then, diminutizing Zelina Vega with her athletic ability. If you had Zelina win the title in Puerto Rico just because she's, a Puerto Rican native, that kind of ruins a little bit of credibility for Rhea Ripley after what she went through against Charlotte Flair at Mania, possibly having the greatest women's wrestling match, not only in WrestleMania history, but I think just in wrestling in general and in WWE. Having it run for only a month, that kind of makes her look weak a little bit. And then having Zelina drop the title 2 weeks later, that's kind of like what they did the same shit with Charlotte and Sasha. Hot potato with the title. To a point. So you don't want to repeat, and look how well that lasted.
Yeah.
It made the fans pissed off at the women's division even more. And I don't think you want to piss off, doesn't want to piss off the fans, especially with the stacked women's roster that they have. Zelina Vega, as you said earlier, got her WrestleMania moment with the fans going absolutely ballistic and whatnot. And then Rhea doing the smart thing of actually leaving the ring and then having Zelina have that final moment in her home country with that massive ovation. You can't write anything better than that. I don't think... But having the title on top of that, that's even more predictable.
Yeah, but here's my only thing, though. WWE is all for making moments.
Not for fucking Backlash.
Why not? Why can't you make Backlash a bigger event?
Because Backlash is not considered one of the big pay-per-views?
But do you get where I'm going with this, though?
Yes, and I'm telling you from a different perspective that WWE only cares about 4, maybe 5 big events. And that's Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, or Summerfest if you're Jeremy Piven, Money in the Bank, and WrestleMania. They don't give a shit about what happens in Saudi Arabia. They don't give a shit what happens at Heck in a Sec or Hell in a Cell, whatever the hell you want to call it. All they care about is the big shows that's held in bigger venues that will make them a ton of money. Because I'm sorry, no one's going to travel. Okay, now let me ask you this. Let's say Backlash was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and they didn't draw well. Do you think then you would have had Rhea drop the title to Zelina Vega?
No, because you wouldn't have that moment.
Exactly. So what you're saying is that the only reason why it would be more predictable to have that moment is because it's in Zelina's home country. No. Right.
What I'm trying to say is this: it would have changed things up a little bit because we all know that Vince does not let their talent win if they're in their hometown. It would have changed things. And again, I'm not saying that, it has to be a decisive win or anything like that. I'm not saying that. Have it be that all of a sudden, something happens to Rhea, get a quick schoolboy roll up, 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden it's like, oh my God, what the hell happened? Then it's going to make you want to watch Monday Night Raw to see where they follow up with it.
Not really.
But that's my point, though. That's what I'm trying to get at here, is that it would have made things different. It would have made things unpredictable.
But as you said before we went on the air, WWE does not condone to the hardcore fans. They care about the casual fans who really don't follow. WWE is predictable because they only care about the casual fans, not us hardcore fans.
And I get that, and I get what you're saying, but folks, if you're watching, let us know in the comments below. Do you think Zelina Vega should have gotten a title run? I'm not again. I'm not, and one thing I have to keep stressing here. I'm not trying to say to give Zelina Vega a 1,000-day run like we're seeing right now with Roman. I'm not going that far.
No, absolutely not.
I'm just saying give her that 2-week run, let her have that feel-good moment, and then that's it.
Why even give her 2 weeks? Give her like Liv Morgan. Give her 2 months.
But I'm just saying you don't have to give her a full-blown run here.
No, I know, but the way you were saying it was that you wanted to give it to Zelina because it was in her home country.
Because
that's
it would
the
have been.
Point I'm getting at.
But the point I'm getting at, it would have been different.
But it's WWE. Casual fans, come on! It's like watching Survivor. Who's gonna get eliminated off the island this week? You? Okay, there you go. Goodbye.
Wow, this is really a passionate conversation we're having tonight.
Yes, it is. And one last thing about Backlash, I want to talk about: could we possibly see the starting cracks in the foundation of Damage Control?
Yes, and we were talking about that at work, and I said to you at work, they have been teasing that for a long time.
Well, based on what we saw on Saturday night, I think they may have solidified it because let's backtrack a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bayley was offered to be in a triple threat qualifying match, but then I think talked to Adam Pearce to give it to Io Sky, not thinking that she was going to win. Hello, she won. And when she won, if you really look at Bayley's face, she kind of looked a little upset about that. So then fast forward to Backlash, which, by the way, her and Bianca Belair had a phenomenal match. Great way to open up the card. And the fact that the Puerto Rican fan base was massively behind Io Sky, that right there, it proves that Io Sky can do well as a face. But
before we get to that, we have a new comment coming in from a new follower.
New follower, who we got? Oh, Jess, you have no idea.
Just wait.
It's entertainment. But
yeah, we're doing this because the camera's on us.
Oh, of course. But with thanks for tuning in, by the way, Jessica. I'm sorry you have to see all this. But no, with Io Sky, you notice that she was going to go for her signature, like I think it was signature backflip. I think it was off the top rope.
Yeah, I think so.
But then all of a sudden, you blatantly see Bayley reach over and grab Bianca's hair braid, trying to hold it down, kind of on purpose. Because the referee blatantly saw that, distracting the referee and Io Sky, and as Io countered, Bianca had Io in her, was it KOD or something like that?
Yeah, KOD.
KOD, and that's how she won. And actually now Bianca Belair just made history of becoming the longest reigning women's champion in the modern era. So I commend her on that because she's actually been...
You bring that up, and if you notice toward the end of that match, Bianca started to get booed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we're starting to see a heel turn with her?
No. It's the fan base. Come on.
What I'm just curious to see though is, I'm not saying her character is getting stale at all because I'm very entertained by her. But the fact that she has held that title for over 400 days now,
yeah, which is impressive. And here's the thing: unlike some champions, Roman Reigns, she's defended it on every single pay-per-view.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that I totally agree on. But okay. Anything else you want to get to with Backlash?
Seth Rollins defeated Omos in the greatest WrestleMania greatest Backlash match. Not really.
Okay.
Austin Theory, Lashley, and Reed. Almost 7 minutes. I felt bad for the Bloodline, Owens, Riddle, and Sami Zayn because they had to follow up the street fight. And Cody and Brock again should not have main evented. You know what? Honestly, they should have swapped the street fight and Cody and Brock. I'm sorry, I'm being straightforward.
I was saying that to somebody earlier today. I said they should have flip-flopped the two of them.
But you know what's even funnier? We're getting Lesnar back-to-back pay-per-views or premium live events, which is something that hasn't been seen in well over a decade. That means
he's also getting color.
I know.
How often have we ever seen Brock getting color anytime?
And also, you know what? No, we'll leave that when we talk about last night with Raw. But otherwise, Backlash, hell of a lot better than last year's Backlash. I will commend them on that.
Oh, incredible. And I'm very intrigued now. If this is the way that these pay-per-views, especially these international pay-per-views, are going to start going, I'm very intrigued to see what's going to happen at Money in the Bank in a couple of weeks.
Dude, you're forgetting one pay-per-view.
Yeah, the Saudi show.
Yeah, which, by the way, also Money in the Bank is happening on July 1st in the UK.
So we have some time.
We have a week and a half. We have a little under 2 months.
Yeah, so we got time for that.
But then we have Night of Champions in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Yay, whoop-de-doo.
Hey.
Which means what's going to happen is it's going to be a show that's going to be on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but nobody's going to watch it because people have lives.
Actually, no. They are, I think, Sam. I don't know how far ahead they are on us.
Yeah, they're those pay-per-views. Obviously, with the exception of Backlash being different, any of those pay-per-views that are on,
they're 8 hours ahead of us. That's what it is.
Yeah. So any of those pay-per-views that are in Saudi, in the UK, over in the other side of the pond, are usually the early afternoon shows
for us in the US. Which, case in point, that's what's going to happen with Money in the Bank, and I cannot wait for that.
But that's what I was saying. You look at how Backlash paid off, and supposedly, from what I heard, WWE wants to do more international shows.
Quite honestly, I'd be okay with that.
Because I heard one of them, and this wouldn't be bad if they can pull it off and actually do it right this time. Australia.
Go back to Australia? Yeah, I can see that. After 2018 they were down there. I got one even better.
Which one?
How about going to Japan?
Have they done a show in Japan? I don't remember.
They did. It was that Beast in the East thing years ago.
Oh, wait. Was that the NXT one they did?
No, not NXT. Yeah. They had the NXT title match on there. That was when Finn won the title. It was 2015.
Yeah, that was Owens?
What?
Wasn't that Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens? Yes, because that was Brock versus
Kofi.
God. That was before Brock killed him a couple years later.
Pretty much. But no, why not do a premium live event from the land of the rising sun? Granted,
I got another one.
Granted, the timeline will be fucked up, but I don't care.
I got another one. Why not do one in the motherland?
No.
I think they can pull it.
No, I don't think they can pull it off in Israel.
And Ryan, we actually have a guest joining us right now.
We do. Oh, yes, we do.
Would you be so kind to introducing our guests?
Why, certainly. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, as you are sitting here watching the Around the Rose podcast on the new ATR network, it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce this gentleman who just popped up on the screen below us. He is a very good friend of mine for a long, long time, one of my best friends, and he is also the sole owner of a little-known vendoring promotion called DMZ Promotions. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Around the Rose podcast, the one and only Mr. David Zubin.
Hello, Mr. Ryan, and hello, Jon. And it is an honor to be on the show. And yes, 8 years. We've been friends for.
I haven't
strangled you yet.
And Moving on.
How you doing,
Dave,
John?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to have you on here. Before we get into what's happening on May 20th, because it's a lot of stuff going on that day. Let's get into what got you into wanting to become a vendor.
So, as you guys know, I don't know really, John, if you know. I know Ryan knows. I was a referee. I was doing the business and stuff like that, doing different things, and I wanted to branch out. You know what I'm saying is I wanted to do different things. So I started helping out different vendors, such as ESS Promotions, Scott Wilder Promotions, RP Productions,
Rest in peace.
and I loved it and enjoyed it. And I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can do this and stuff like that. So I went talking and looking at different things, talking to different people, and I found I would say what is the word I'm looking for? A person who helped me financially with it, but his name will not be out there.
Silent partner.
Sound fun, thank you. And so I decided to do this, and then at the big event, I decided to do it. First, I went under the name David Zubin Promotions. And then I was like, you know what? Nah, I don't like it. After talking to Ryan and a few others, and my silent partner, we decided to brand it under DMZ Promotions.
Which sounds 10 times better.
So my first guest I ever had at a big event was Latino Heat Charles Guerrero, the daughter of Eddie Guerrero, and the Drama King Matthew Wywalt, and if you know, and AKA Aiden English. I was always a fan of Aiden English from his WWE days, and I decided to, you know what, let me bring him in as my first guest. I thought it was gonna be very hard to get in contact. Well, Twitch did the work. I typed in a little question. He responded with his email address, so I sent him an email. I would say about 3 hours later, I got an email back and started the talking process of booking the Drama King.
Right.
Now, you mentioned, Matt Raywald, a.k.a. Aiden English. I want to fast forward a little bit to this past big event that we had here in Queens in March. You brought in, a few names and whatnot, but the ones that really caught the most attention was a tag team that hasn't been together since their WWE days, and that is Aiden English, along with Simon Gotch, the Vaudevillains. How did that come to fruition? Like, what made you want to think, okay, let me try to bring in the Vaudevillains after so many years of work?
So this is very funny. When I had Aiden English, aka Drama King Matt, and Shaw, a fan said to me, "Why don't you try to get Simon Gotch?" And I was like, it started turning in my head. So I was like, first things first, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know what? That day, I looked at him and I said, how would he feel about it? He said, and I quote, "I'll be down. Like, if you make it happen, I'll do it." So I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I went up the back ladder. By the way, they haven't tag teamed together since 2017. They did 3 shows together after WWE. One of them was the Wrestling Universe.
Wow.
In Queens, New York. I don't know the other 2, but I'm glad I was one of the 4th ones to bring them in. And so to answer your question is, when I went home, I literally went thinking about it. So you know what? So I went on Google, I went on Instagram, looked them up on Facebook, looked them up on different social media platforms, sent him an email, and I sent him a message on one of his platforms. He responded 30 seconds later.
Oh, wow.
I kid you not. Literally 30 seconds.
That's impressive.
This is how short the conversation was. Hi, my name is David Zubin. I'd like to bring you in for a convention. I'm thinking about bringing the Vaudevillains back together. His response, let's do it.
Wow.
So what I wanted to do was I messaged Matt, double checking if it's okay with him. Just, you know what I'm saying, just clarity, you know what I'm saying is. And little that I know, it went all. I had this down. Let's see. Big event in November last year was like in May 11th, I think it was, or something like that.
I know it was March and November.
It was November when I had Aiden by himself with Shaw.
Yeah, it was March.
Literally, I had that on the lock all the way to February.
Wow.
Right until a soul.
That's impressive.
And you know me, my blubbermouth. I tell everybody stuff.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
But now, David, obviously we're going to get into what's happening on May 20th because, like I said, it's a lot going on. We just had Richie on here last week for a sit down, folks. If you want to go check that out, definitely can. We went into the whole story of how the Wrestle Show NJs happened and kind of the whole story behind that. But Dave, before we get into that, the last thing I have about with you and the vendor thing, is there one specific talent that if you have the ability to that you would love to bring in for a show?
Yes. And I just want to let you know, it is in the process of working. And I just want to let you know for our 1 year anniversary in November, let's just say we're maybe going big.
Ooh, I like the little teaser.
Ooh. We all know it's Ryan.
No.
Ryan always knows if he wants to come, sign some autographs and stuff like that. He has an open invitation. He'll just have to pay me $600 for it. Choking Ryan.
I know.
But Ryan, go ahead.
No, I do have a question for you, Jon.
Okay.
Oh.
I've always wanted to do this, and I've always wanted to ask this question to you, Jon.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
What made you want to start your very own podcast known as Around the Ropes Podcast?
Oh.
How did that come into play?
Interesting question. I don't think I've ever told the story on air. So story time with Shmuley. I just thought of that on the spot.
Story time with Shmuley. That should be a graphic.
Right, don't kid yourself. I can have a graphic for that done by next week.
Oh my god.
No, but so to answer your question, basically what happened.
I do know a graphic designer, just saying.
I may have to hit you up on that one.
Oh god.
And then make that pass into a shirt.
I do know how to. I already got that on lock too. What do you think I do? I had my own shirts. If this was really planned, I would be wearing my promotional shirt where it says DMZ Promotions on it. But okay. This wasn't planned today.
So to answer your question, I've been doing podcasts now for about 11 years. And I none of them had been a success. None of that. They've all flopped in one way, shape, or form. And after 11 years, I was like, you know what? The idea was approached to me by people who Ryan and I were formerly associated with. And I was like, you know what? I'll give it one last go. If this doesn't succeed, that's it. I'm done. I'm pulling the plug. That was 2 years ago as of this November. Basically, this whole show came to fruition because, and Ryan teases me about this every time, I'm a huge Busted Open fan. And Dave LaGreca is somebody who I look as somebody who pioneered this. And I want to do a podcast where we're talking wrestling, but we're not. It's not just strictly WWE and AEW, because everybody and their mothers does that. I want to focus on, because crap, between myself and him, we're at indie wrestling shows every freaking week. It feels like, in one way, shape, or form. So I figured, why not talk more about the indies, give the indies more of a spotlight. And so far, crap, in 2 years, we also have our own coffee as well. So,
which by the way, folks, that is delicious.
Yes, which we're going to get more into this later on.
Oh, yes.
But Zubin, to answer your question in a short version of it, I have a passion for this. I've been wanting to be in radio since I was 8 years old. My first exposure to radio was, if you're familiar with the sports scene in New York, there was a sports show on WFAN back in the day called Mike and the Mad Dog. Ryan, does that?
You were asking. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, of course I remember Mike and the Mad Dog.
That was my first exposure. But then when they left, you're gonna laugh. What turned my attention into really becoming a radio host? You guys are gonna both laugh, and people who are watching are gonna laugh. I got away from the whole sports talk world. What got me into really wanting to be a radio host was a little duo on 92.3 K-Rock called Opie and Anthony. They were the ones that really got me into it. And then obviously, then it grew up and, listened to Boomer and Carton and then all that stuff. And then honestly, then it became Busted Open. Then that's really when because every podcast I had done had all been sports shows. I never dived into doing a wrestling show. The fact now that I go to conventions and I go to shows now and people look at me and go, "Oh, you're the podcast guy." I sit there and go, "Me?" I'm like, "I'm just a fan." But people know me now as the podcast guy. So, Zubin, that kind of is a long form answer to your question. But that's the first time anybody ever asked me that on air.
I'm glad I'm your first. I'm the first of many.
That came out the wrong way. But actually, Ryan, I'm going to throw this to you now. Since we're actually celebrating this month the 1 year anniversary of Mr. Peterson being a part of the show.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something, John?
What?
Before we answer his question, before he goes answering the question, did you know that your colleague used to be my colleague?
You did?
Yeah, we used to do a Facebook Live every week during the pandemic every week, where we did the Zubin Show, starring Ryan Peterson.
Okay, Ryan, let me ask you this question.
Sure.
And then we'll get back into the Wrestle Show stuff.
Of course.
What made you want to be a part of this show?
So apparently it's been going on. This was going on for a few months when the other individual kept bringing me on to, kept saying, "Hey, why don't you be a guest? Why don't you be a guest?" I'm like, I don't know how I feel. Like kind of like pushing back a little bit. So I'm like, you know what? Let me give it like a one shot to see what it is. And I think my first ever time on the show was a top 10 list. I think it was. I did
top 10 tag team list.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, the top 10 tag team list.
I remember that for one reason. Because I remember that where we do top 10 lists, and normally this would take 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, we went like an hour.
We went an hour and 10 minutes for that. I'll never forget that one.
Well, that's what happens when you have someone in wrestling who knows a thing or two about wrestling. So that led to that, and then, started doing, little stuff here and there, and then we had the Hell in a Cell watch-along. If you remember, John.
No, hold on. You're forgetting a big part of the story.
What?
You were a part of the show before Hell in a Cell.
I think I debuted the week of
Hell in a Cell. You debuted our first guest, the first guest, and I remember this because I was at work that night on your debut episode. Was when we
I'm surprised you remember shit like that.
Huh?
I'm surprised you remember shit like that because I don't.
Okay, you're gonna laugh. Your first guest that we had on the show, because I remember I booked him for this show was Seth Turner, the president of the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in Albany, New York.
I forgot about that one, actually.
That was our first exposure to the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That was your first show.
Oh, God.
And the fact that I remember that is scary.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to throw this one out there. You laugh at that. I still remember the first guest that I ever booked on this show.
Oh, God.
He's your morning host on 94.3 The Shark out here on Long Island. It's Orlando. That was the first ever guest I booked on this show. And I remember that because in the last November when we celebrated our 1 year anniversary, we had him on to commemorate that fact.
That I remember.
Right. There's things, when it comes to this show, people forget. Yes, I look at the show of having fun. I have 100%. But there's certain things I'm never going to forget from the show.
But then I think the biggest moment for me was the Hell in a Cell watch along.
Yes.
It was the Hell in a Cell watch along because there was a lot of eyes on that event that night.
Yep. And folks, we'll have another watch along coming up
Eventually.
But unfortunately, folks, the problem is when you go to as many wrestling shows as I go to, and Ryan works as many wrestling shows as he does, the schedule just never works out that well.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. But yeah, so that's, and then, pretty much, let's just say Jon and the other person said, "Oh, please, stay on the podcast, please."
Actually, hold on. I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. It was actually my call.
Okay, so basically Jon was sitting there going, "Oh, please, sir."
No, actually, hold on. I never told you this?
Can I finish my spiel?
No.
I can see Jon as, little Oliver Twist going, "Please, sir, please join our podcast." And I mean, Mr. Bumble, "What? Please, sir, please join our podcast." Podcast? Sure, why not?
Okay, you want the real reason?
I do, actually. I do.
You'll find out right after this break. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, honestly, the reason for it, I remember that video we did, which was the top 10 tag team list.
Mm-hmm.
And there was chemistry there. We bounced off each other perfectly. I know that's not a fat joke. I'm just saying the chemistry worked out. We didn't legit bounce off of each other, because if that was the case, then we need a really big room.
Yeah, bounce off.
If that was the case, you probably heard about a mini earthquake that happened out east.
Oh, you're funny, Ryan. But yeah, I thought about it. I'm like, because at that point it was me, you, and our third co-host, Costa, who unfortunately is not on tonight because he has some personal issues going on at the current time. And I was like, what? I want to bring on a fourth person. And to have somebody on in the industry who knows what he's talking about, who brings the show credibility, because I've said this to you hundreds of times, Ryan, that you bring the show a crap ton of credibility. And and I'm saying this also mainly because, this is your 1 year anniversary on the show. So I'm saying.
That's the only reason why you're saying it.
Huh?
That's the only reason why you're saying it.
Now, I would have said it any other week, but it's more important now because it's the 1 year anniversary. But I'm saying this from the guy who started this whole fiasco, circus, whatever you want to call it, back in November, almost 2 years ago, Ryan.
It's a cluster.
No, it's a great show. I know what you're talking about.
Continue. Come on.
I appreciate everything you've done.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
And that's not me trying to blow smoke up your ass.
Sure. That's what they all say. No, I really appreciate that. But you know what? Enough of this kissy Google Gaga bullshit. We still have our guest here, Mr. DMZ himself, David Zubin. And let's talk about what's going on next weekend, May 20th, with actually Jon. If you'd be so kind to hop up the graph. There you go. So, folks, for those that have been living under a rock for the last few months, welcome back to Earth. And on Saturday, May 20th, next week, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Middletown Township, New Jersey, at the Middletown Sports Complex. It is the first annual NJ Wrestle Show. It's a huge convention run by Richie Sorrentino, and David Zubin will be there in attendance. Now, Mr. DMZ, would you be so kind as to tell our viewers who DMZ is bringing in?
So we are bringing in several different stars. One of them we are bringing in. He is known in the WCW world. He has been seen on WWE. He has been on Impact Wrestling a few times. Pops up once in a while. But he's also known as this catchphrase. Somebody call my mama. Ernest the Cat Miller.
You guys almost should take my head off.
Yep. And then also we have Simon Gotch, where you know him as the Vaudevillains from WWE. He also known as NJPW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think he was on MLW.
Yep. Yes, he was.
And he was also in the movie The Wrestler.
Yes, he
Thank
was.
you, Richie. So, and then I wanted to bring something new. Something the first time DMZ Promotions ever did. After talking to several people, I decided, you know what, let's do it. So I decided to bring my first female guest. Sorry, Saul. So I was like, okay, let me go do some. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying is, I don't want to bring no big WWE person. Not really. So I decided to go bring in Jasmine Allure.
Ooh.
So I decided to bring Jasmine Allure in. That one was a very good negotiation process. A lot of back and forth, and I'm glad I was able to do it. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? Let me do it at Wrestle Show, New Jersey. First time working for me. First time me vendoring at Wrestle Show, New Jersey, especially in the Middletown Sports Complex, where she had some WWE exposure on SmackDown, where she has been on AEW Dark. She's also the top tier Jasmine Allure, where she's under WOW, Women's of Wrestling.
Wow.
I don't know her exact name under WOW, to be honest. I think she goes under a different name.
I can Google that right now. While you're talking, of course.
So, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And then one morning I was approached by a wrestling company that is running 15 minutes away from Wrestle Show, New Jersey, known as Tag Team Championship Wrestling, owner and founder by Billy Fesky.
Ooh.
Would I be able to be interested in popping up at their show? And I was like, thinking about it. But I'm gonna tease that a little bit. I'm gonna come back to that.
Sorry, not to cut you off. Her name at WOW was Jennifer Flores.
Jennifer Flores. I knew it wasn't Jasmine Allure and stuff like that.
It was Jennifer Flores, yeah.
Hey, John, do me a favor. Can you pull up that graphic one more time for me for Wrestle Show, New Jersey?
Absolutely. Give me 1 second here.
Just think about okay, so the reason why I asked about this, I'm going to name a few of these names. Some of these names I idolized. Some of these names I actually got me into wrestling. Think about it. You got Melina, Danhausen. You got Mr. Pat Your Stuff in the Back, Barry Horowitz, Rikishi, Gangrel, Ron Simmons.
Damn.
That is a damn. You got a few others. I don't really know their names.
You got JC Storm. You got Brandy Lauren. You got Harley Cameron. I believe that is. I don't know who it is, but you got John Silver and Alex Reynolds, the Dark Order, and they got so much more down there. But my apologies, Zubin. Go right ahead, and John, you can take the graphic off now.
So, I wanted to do something different. Richie Sorrentino. I think he's the owner. I don't know what he's under his brand, if he's the CEO. He messaged me in saying that they're doing professional photo opportunities. You know me, I like to try different things and get things done, you know what I'm saying? So I reached out to the people, and I have talked to it, and it is being finalized where you get to have a professional photo op with the top tier Jasmine Allure, the wrestler, WCW, WWE, Impact Wrestling, The Cat, a.k.a. the one and only Ernest the Cat Miller. And I can't leave out my buddy, Simon Gotch, WCW, and all that good stuff. Botched.
Guys, it happens May 20th at Middle Township, New Jersey. Get your tickets. I think tickets for the event itself, from what Richie had told me when we had him on last week, tickets are $15 for admission, and it's free parking with a 2-level garage, so you have enough parking. It's affordable prices. So, folks, definitely, if you're in the area, I know there's quite a few wrestling shows that day. As Zubin mentioned before, you have Titan that day. You also have Pro Wrestling Magics that day. So definitely go out. If you're in the New Jersey area, you're about to go check out those 2 wonderful shows. I highly recommend going to this first. It's not, I wasn't going to say free, but it's very affordable. And when it comes to conventions, one thing I've learned is you never know who can be walking around. Especially you're in New Jersey, so who the hell knows?
And especially check out the Titan show, because that day is a 2-show event. Because you got Goddesses of War in the afternoon.
Zubin's going to be on the Goddess show.
I knew it! I knew it!
You wasn't supposed to announce that yet.
But also later on that night, it's Rise of the Titans.
Yes. In a triple threat match in your main event of Anthony Gangone taking on Johnny Moran, taking on Ultimo Dragon with Sonny Ono in his corner for the TCW World Heavyweight title and the Funhouse Heavyweight title.
But you forgot one thing, buddy. You got to realize
David Zubin's winning the Goddesses title.
When DMZ Promotions goes to events, we make sure we stick out like a stove. On that show that night, do you have that graphic ready? Graphic or no? You know what I'm talking about, do you?
No. Don't know. I know you're talking about the match happening.
Yep.
I do not have that one, but I know which one you're talking about, though.
You know, I could probably pull it up on my phone and just blast it on the screen. Does it involve one of your clients for the evening?
Yes, it does.
So wait, hold on. While Ryan's looking it up, Zubin, does that make you then the advocate for these clients? I mean, you kind of look like Paul Heyman a little bit. I'm just saying.
There's a reason why I'm laughing about that comment. I went to my first ever Comic-Con.
Okay.
I was coming from a job interview. I was wearing a suit. Someone said, "Are you Paul Heyman? You look like Paul Heyman."
I mean, you're at the right height, and Paul Heyman is kind of thin up top. I'm just saying.
But I gotta say, I am the skinny version. But
anyway, I found the graphic for the match that we are talking about.
So, like I said, that night, DMZ Promotions will have no other than Simon Gotch is going to be on that show, where he'll be facing for the TCW. I think that's middleweight championship.
Everyone can see this?
Yeah, the middleweight champion.
Jon, can you full screen this for me, please?
Yes. Hold on.
You said it 3 times.
Where you're gonna see Ray
Kalicha.
how do you pronounce his guy's name?
Ray Kalitre
Versus Simon Gotch for the TCW middleweight het championship.
And like to also mention, Ray Kalitre is managed by the one and only AJ Pan.
Ugh.
So, also, you got to realize you cannot have a wrestling show with females, women wrestlers. Becca Wiley. Yes, you got the Becky. Get that title, Becky Wiley.
Oh wait, Becky just commented?
No.
Oh, what the hell? Oh, then what the hell?
I just want to say it.
Oh, okay.
Without a top tier Jasmine Allure. Jasmine Allure will be there for the meet and greet 2:30 all the way on, where she will be signing autographs for Goddesses of War.
Hold on, Ryan. I'll put you on full screen. Hold on.
And look at that. Look at that graphic right there. Special appearance courtesy of DMZ Promotions. Jasmine Allure. Goddess of War presents. I was reading.
Wrath of the Goddesses.
Wrath of the Goddesses.
But also, you're forgetting one other thing, unless you were saving that for last.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
So, I had to do something different. I had to make sure this lovely talent, who's been seen around the world, had to come down to Aberdeen Township, I think it is.
Yes.
At the Highline Sports Complex.
Yep.
We had to bring a cat. What cat are you talking about? We had to bring the one, the only, the man, the myth, Ernest, the Cat Miller will be at Rise of the Titans. Yes, you see that right there, Rise of the Titan. How can you not do Rise of the Titan without the cat? Ernest the Cat Miller. Somebody call my mama.
Also, folks, just a hint of advice. Don't stand near him. He may try to kick your head off.
I just want to let you know, Jon, you did sign that waiver to work with me. So,
which, by the way, I haven't seen that video.
Wait, I had it?
Somebody has the video of me almost get my head kicked off by Ernest.
Hey, you know what that means in this business when someone does that to you, right?
Yeah, it's called blackmail. I know.
No, it's called they love you. They like you. AKA Dink Nick Dinsmore.
Yeah, moving on.
But anyway, as you see, folks, you can see DMZ Promotions live in Jersey next week at Wrestle Show NJ and Goddesses of War / Titan Championship Wrestling with the amazing lineup that he has coming in Simon Gotch, Jasmine Allure, and John Blaine's best friend in the entire world, Ernest the Cat Miller.
I have a question. Do I have time on this little interview to go on to talk about the next night?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Floor's yours.
Is that okay with you, Jon?
Go right ahead. Floor's yours.
So, DMZ Promotions will be traveling the tri-state area, where we will be going to a place called Baltimore, Maryland.
That's not the tri-state area, but okay.
I call it tri-state area. I call it what I want to call it, okay?
All right.
So, I decided, you know what? Since I have people there, I'll bring them in to Baltimore Celeb Fest.
Ooh, okay.
But wait, I only have 3 talents. Do you think we should be done? Wait,
knowing who you are, you're not done.
Wait, where's your co-host?
He had to go take care of some personal stuff, so it's just you and me right now, buddy.
So I was like, you know what? Fine. I wasn't done yet. I had to bring somebody in.
And
who did I bring in? The tag team partner of the Cats. The man, the myth, the legend, Glacier.
Ooh, you got the Iceman himself.
The Iceman, a.k.a. Sub-Zero look like 2.0.
Great guy, by the way.
If I got that done, we got that tag team, why do I stop there? I have Simon Gotch. So I was like, okay. I made a little phone call to his buddy, his partner in crime for the WWE, known as the Vaudevillains, a.k.a. Jon is back.
Okay, I'm good. Sorry.
That scared me. So like I was saying, I had to do something. You know what? If it works successfully in the big event, I'll bring in Aiden English, known as the Vaudevillains, back together at Baltimore Celeb Fest.
Wow.
Wait, hold on. I had one more talent.
My God, this just turned into a Monday Night Raw episode.
I had one more. I decided, you know what? Hey, Jasmine, how about what do you feel? Let's come to Baltimore. She hopped on that so quickly. She's coming to Baltimore with me. My first female in Baltimore Celeb Fest for the first time. The prices will be for Wrestle Show New Jersey. Will be for Aiden, for Simon Gotch will be $30 for autograph, $30 for picture selfie, $45 for professional photo op, and his combo will be $50 for a selfie and an autograph.
Wow.
Ernest the Cat Miller will be the same thing, 45, 30, 30, 50, 45 for combo. And then Jasmine Allure will be $50 for her professional photo op, and $30 for combo, $30 for that pictures, combos, all that good stuff.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. That you hear from the main man himself, DMZ David Zubin, going to be at Wrestle Show New Jersey, which is located in the tri-state area, going to Titan Championship Wrestling and Goddesses of War, and then goes down to Baltimore, Maryland, not located in the tri-state area, but more in the, I would say, the Mid-East. The Mid-East. You're going to Crater Country. But as you can see right there, is Wrestle Show New NJ, where you can see David Zubin up here. Stop by, grab some photos, grab some autographs, say hi, because trust me, you don't want to miss out on any of the talents that David is bringing in.
No, absolutely not. Again, David, thank you so much for hopping on. We appreciate it a lot. And definitely have a blast both days and go kick ass.
Thank you very much, guys. Is there any more questions for me?
Make that money.
No, we got nothing else on our end. But David, we got some other
guys.
Have a good one, David.
Bye.
Later.
Now, guys, that was David Zubin. Now, guys, again,
check him out at Wrestle NJ, located in New Jersey. That's in the tri-state area.
We got a comment coming in from our buddy Jumbo Ref.
There you go.
Who says, I'm about to get a ticket. I just need Danhausen, so I'll stop by for a few.
Yeah, who need Danhausen? Very nice, very evil. Yes, Danhausen, yes.
Well, since we were talking about the independent stuff before, as we were talking about Titan and what their show is, Mr. Peterson, why don't we dive into a little bit more of the indies, shall we?
Let's quickly talk about Raw first because something happened last night I want to bring up.
Okay.
So last night's start was basically the first round and semifinal round of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. On one end, on one triple threat matchup, you had Seth Rollins defeating. Oh, seeing Blink 182. Oh, you got tickets, you lucky bastard. You got Seth Rollins defeating Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura. And then in the other triple threat, you had Finn Balor defeating Cody Rhodes and The Miz, which Cody Rhodes got pulled out of the ring by some cowboy coward, as he so called him, and Brock Lesnar, which now leads into a match in the middle of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, for those two having a fight again. So,
yeah, more likely.
And no, it's confirmed. And then the main event, which was the other semifinal matchup, in a rematch of their first encounter of 2016, where for the Universal Red Fruit by the Foot roll-up strap title they had back in the day, as Seth Rollins defeated Finn Balor, and now he is on his way to the finals in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and he will have to wait on either. I will pull up the names quickly. Either Bobby Lashley, Sheamus, Austin Theory, Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles, or Edge. And he'll have to face either one of those 6 gentlemen in Jeddah and Saudi Arabia at Night of Champions. Okay, now.
Yeah, hold on. Go ahead, finish your point, because I want to... Well, my only thing I'm just going to say about Raw, and we were talking about this before we went live tonight, is Raw right now, to me, has become very predictable lately and very formulaic. Like, you know exactly what's going to happen. I feel like you and I can sit here and predict next week's Raw, and we'll probably get 90% of it correct.
Of course.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm getting tired of it.
This is what happens when Monday Night Raw runs for 3 hours, but it's really more an hour and 15 minutes of wrestling.
I would love for them. I know it was years ago it happened, but I would love for them to go back to 2 hours.
Oh, I would love that in a heartbeat.
Go either 9 to 11 or 8 to 10.
Seriously.
Hell, go 8 to 10 even.
Hell, go 8:30 to 10:30. I don't know, do something.
But this whole thing about doing this the way Raw is right now, I'm sorry. Yes, do I watch it? Yeah, I still watch it. I'm still a fan of it. But the problem is, it's like, okay, I can literally sit there. At, let's say, for example, if I'm down in the ATR studios here doing work, I could have Raw on my phone over here on the corner, keep it on as background noise, be focusing on stuff for the show, and still know what's going on Raw. To me, they have to get Raw. Raw has, to me, look at what SmackDown's. And I know we don't go into ratings so much because, I just think the ratings whole thing is stupid. But look at what SmackDown's pulling right now. SmackDown 9, especially since Hunter took over, SmackDown's been pulling in over a 2.
Yeah, because you know why?
Because
they're on a channel that mostly everybody gets, which is Fox. And also, they're 2 hours.
Yeah, but that's what's different, though. You look at Raw. I mean, yes, people do get USA Network.
Not much, though.
But also, who's going to sit there and watch a full 3-hour Raw?
No.
I mean, I still remember the Raws when they were absolutely terrible back in the day. But that's just my whole thing with Monday Night Raw. I think Monday Night Raw has become very formulaic, very much, you know what's going to happen, you know how it's going to happen, you know what's going to be said in the segment. And to me, it's like, okay, or 9 times out of 10, honestly, you know how I find out what happens on Raw? Social media.
Pretty much. But let's step away from mainstream media and go to something that's actually better indie wrestling.
Hold on, let me just get to some comments that we have coming in here right now.
Sure.
Jumbo Ref chimes in here and says, I watch a good amount of Raw at work. and get paid. So you see, but that's my point, though.
Yeah.
He's watching the network. I'm watching it down here because I got stuff to do for the show, to set up for the show. Because the thing is, like, you look at Monday Night Raw, and then you look at AEW, okay? Dynamite is the type of show, yes. Do they pack a lot in to 2 hours? Yes. But they pack a lot in that you have to pay attention from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
With Raw, you can literally watch it be, I don't want to say stoned, but you could be stoned too. And know exactly what's happening. You could have, you could be a 3-year-old and watch Monday Night Raw and know what's happening. My point is this: there has to be a way to get Raw better. I don't know what it takes, but they have to get Raw better.
Cut down the goddamn commercials and actually put wrestling on. That's my theory.
Hold on. You mean you don't want to see 9,000 commercials between K Jewelers,
No.
Hardy, Carl Hardy's, or whatever other fast food places out there?
You mean the stuff that we don't get here in the Northeast? No.
Or, we have to play 9,000 commercials from K Jewelers. Who gives a flying fuck?
Sometimes wrestling fans can't even afford the jewels from K Jewels.
Or, okay, it's, we have to air a commercial from Walmart. Why?
Because. Now let's talk about indie wrestling. I think, John, you were actually at an event this past weekend.
Yes, and before I even get to that event, actually, let me get into that event first, and then I'll get into the news that was just announced on social media for the next convention being run, September 30th.
Yes, I just saw that too.
Which I will be at. No ifs, ands, or buts. I will be there.
Okay, so where were you this weekend?
I was in Middletown. No, was it Middletown, New Jersey?
Morristown.
Middletown, Morristown. Same thing.
It's Jersey. Next.
Yeah. For 80s WrestleCon. Was my first time being there. I'm going to say this right now. It was a breeze to get there. There was like no traffic. Yeah, mind you, I showed up 15 minutes after the convention started, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I basically walked in, and I got to congratulate Tommy. Tommy ran a very smooth show. He kept walking around. I laugh when it comes to Tommy Fierro because I feel like the guy never takes a breather.
He probably doesn't even know what a breather is.
I always want to ask him. Somebody actually asked him on one of the posts today. Does he ever just take a seat?
Nope.
Does he even know what that is?
Nope.
And again, I'm not saying this to trash on him. I'm just saying I give him a lot of credit.
He's basically one of the hardest working men in wrestling today.
Between running the store, which by the way, folks, if you're in, I forgot where his store is located. It's like Northern Jersey, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
If you ever get the chance, definitely go to it. It's a fantastic store. Obviously, we'll get into ISPW in a second because that's the event that happened afterwards. But definitely go support Tommy. He's one of the, like Ryan said, I agree with him. He's one of the more hardworking guys out there. And
also, he's a great individual in general.
Yeah, he's very down to earth. But I want to get into 80s WrestleCon because it was basically that whole event. The best way I can describe it, it was basically your 80s wrestling magazines come to life. Because you had Tony Atlas there. You had Demolition there. You had, I'm trying to think of who else. You had Gerald Briscoe there. You had...
Wasn't there some Hitman there too?
Yeah, Bret the Hitman Hart was there. You also had, I'm trying to think of who else. You had a lot of the guys from back in the day who were there, and it was run very smoothly. The funny story I have, I'm at the table and selling our coffee, which again we're gonna get to the coffee in a bit. And all of a sudden, who comes walking up by the table but Gerald Briscoe? This event, I'll put it this way: this event, and folks, if you get a chance, definitely go to it. The next time they run the 80s WrestleCon because it was fantastic. You look at, I was sitting, I'm like, he actually came up to me. He goes, hey, how you been, man? He gave me a fist pump. I'm like, me? You also had Dave LaGreca was there. It was great to see Dave again.
Yeah.
But no, I thought
he's a good guy.
Overall, it was a fantastic show. Great. It was very well run. Then we had the after part. The
show itself.
The show itself, which I have the match card, which I can pull that up quickly.
Go right ahead.
Because they actually happened to put up the card after the show, which I commend ISPW for doing that. After every show, they always put up the card for said show. Just give me a second here. I have to go back a bit here. Today, Junior. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So you had your opening match was Eugene taking on Fandango.
Oh God!
Eugene came out in his Lanny Poffo attire and actually did a poem in honor of Lanny Poffo, who was actually supposed to be there that night.
Love it.
Then you had Alpha Jr. taking on Snitsky by disqualification. Ryan, I don't know if you've ever seen a match have the decision get reversed.
I have.
I'll say the one thing I'll say about this match, and I think this match did get filmed. I think you can get the full match of this. Alpha Jr. did a drop kick.
Yep, I saw the video.
Yeah. Michael Mars took on the 79-year-old Tony Atlas. Danny Doran, or as he's known as Danny Morrison, took on Val Venus. What happened?
I said, "Oh God!"
And Val Venus did his whole gimmick.
Hello, ladies.
Except in one of his autographs, he actually turned around and said, "Hello, biological ladies."
Moving on.
Well, again, that was his thing, not me.
Moving on.
The Now retained the ISPW tag team titles, defeating the Headbangers and the Powers of Pain. Decent 3-way. My match of the night is actually this next match here. GKM retained the ISPW Interstate title against Homicide.
Oof.
Originally, this match was supposed to be GKM versus Brian Kendrick, but obviously, as it was reported, Brian Kendrick was not able to be at that event because he had some trip to go to down in Puerto Rico.
He went on vacation.
Yeah. The international shining star, the aforementioned Ray Calitri, as we mentioned before with our guest, David Zubin, won the ISPW Championship Rumble for a shot at the ISPW Heavyweight Championship of his choosing.
Ooh.
Vicious Vicky in a very good women's match captured the ISPW Women's title for the third time, beating the likes of Tina San Antonio, Gabby Ortiz, Adina Steele, and the notorious Mimi. Crowbar took on British Bulldog Jr. and won. And the main event, which it was a good main event, saw Bull James retain his ISPW World Heavyweight title against the King of Rock himself, Rick Recon. Now, the only thing I'm going to say about this, the ending. The only thing I'm going to say about the ending, I figure Tommy has bigger plans in store to get a bigger moment for Rick. But after what he had done in his previous two matches against Crowbar, which again, folks, go to ISPW's YouTube page, go check it out. They were fantastic matches. I really thought the trigger was going to get pulled Saturday night to see Rick win the belt. And it didn't. There were some shenanigans involved. So overall, I thought it was a fantastic show. I highly recommend going to any of Tommy's shows. They're always great. They're also very quick shows, mind you.
And also, based on what you told me, we here at the Around the Roads podcast have something in the works after what you dealt with at 80s Wrestling Con.
Yes,
we're not going to get into much detail at this time.
And the other thing also, I will say this. They had a food truck outside. And I tried zucchini fries. No, yuca fries. Sorry. The zucchini, yuca, I think is the same thing.
No, they're not.
Okay. They were yuca fries. And actually, I'll pull back the curtain a little bit. Billy actually bought them. and she wasn't sure she was gonna like it, so she had me try it. Actually, it was some of the best food I've eaten best food I've eaten at a wrestling show in a long time.
You confirm it good.
And because then also they had a Sumatra, it was like a Sumatra cream sauce on it.
Cilantro, like a cilantro.
Cilantro cream sauce, yeah.
Oh, cilantro crema, that shit is good.
Yeah, that was good. Also, gotta send a shout out to the guys who are there who do the cosplay. I was right next to them, and it was funny sitting there going, "Wait, I got Dusty Rhodes, Sergeant Slaughter, Laddie Poffo, and Nikita Koloff right next to me." Especially at one point when I went to go take a breather, I looked at Dusty. I'm like, "Dusty, can you watch the table for me?" He goes, "Yeah, sure, not a problem." So when I walked out of the room, I'm like, "Wait, the Around the Ropes podcast table is being watched by Dusty Rhodes?" I was like, "This can't be real." But Ryan, before we get into your night, because I definitely want to hear about your night, I just want to mention briefly about the coffee.
Oh yes, but of course.
Oh.
Stop stealing my shit.
I don't steal your shit.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. But guys, we have said this hundreds of times, and I'm going to zoom in. This is the official Around the Ropes podcast coffee. Guys, I mean, Ryan, we had people at work try this today.
Oh yes.
And we also figured out in certain areas, you can get like 7 or 8 out of one bag.
Oh yeah.
But we saw such a positive reaction today.
And the best thing is, it's organic, straight from the coffee beans. No nuts, no extra preservatives, nothing.
And the thing also, what kind of blew me away today, was there are people who weren't even there today who are like, "I want to try it next time I'm in the office."
Mm-hmm.
And just to hear that, I kind of sat there for a moment today in the break room, and I'm like, this is reality. This isn't fantasy.
So, folks, I highly recommend getting a bag.
Yeah.
And perfect example, this guy decided to make an iced coffee out of it.
And I will tell you right now, a lot of times when you drink iced coffee, it gets watered down after a while. And we have a few of us that are part of the show have cups, like special thermos. And I put it in that. I think, let me give it a shot. Because like I said before, I drink iced coffee a lot. And I figured, okay, it's going to get watered down. It's going to get, it did not get watered down. And that was in there for a solid almost 2 hours in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept the same taste for the 2 hours.
Which is incredible.
Yeah. So, folks, definitely go check it. Go get a bag. If we happen to be at a show, we'll have at the next show we're at, which we don't know yet when that will be. Not only will we be having a bag, we'll also be brewing the coffee as well, which I may have forgotten to do on Saturday.
That's fine.
Hey, we did sell some bags, though.
There you go.
But, guys, also, go check out Motor Oil Coffee, the company that we've been working with for this coffee. They are a fantastic group of guys and gals up in the Schenectady, Albany, upstate area. Go to Google, go to Facebook, type in Motor Oil Coffee. Folks, the name does not deceive you. It is, and I'm not saying it's just because our logo happens to be on there. I've tried Folgers. I've tried Maxwell. And it's some of the best damn coffee out there, if I have to say so myself. And folks, I've said this before, the fact that we have people at work who basically are like, I want to try it, I want to try it, I want to try it. And also, last thing I'm going to say on it, you don't get any jitters.
No.
You also don't get that crash feeling.
Nope.
So, folks, I don't know how much more I can say this. Go out, if you see us at a show, we have it. If you're interested in the bag, hit us up on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on every social media platform. Shoot us a message, and we can definitely work out a price for you. If you buy, it's one bag is $15. 2 bags is $28. If you want to buy more than 2 bags, we can discuss bulk price on it. Because, folks, we want to work with you guys. We know coffee right now is expensive. We want to work with you guys because we've had the luxury, myself and Ryan have had the luxury of trying this coffee, and we believe in it. I have a really tough time going for other coffees now because of this coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, we have people who aren't even coffee people who want to try the coffee. Ryan, anything else you want to add to that before we get into what you were doing on Saturday night?
No, you pretty much said it all, man. It's good. Buy a bag or 2 or 20. You know.
And, folks, I'll say it again. The smell of it.
It's incredible.
Oh. But
It's
folks,
smooth. That's what it is.
Yes.
There's no bitter taste. It's smooth.
And and I'm really thinking of a bad segue here in this. Something else that was very smooth. Ryan doing ring announcing for MMA on Saturday night.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. So obviously you guys know that all of you know that I'm an announcer for numerous sports, MMA, kickboxing, and professional wrestling. And this past weekend, I had the great pleasure of returning to the Mohegan Sun Arena for Reality Fighting MMA. And they always come up there. We always go up there like twice a year. Always do well. We actually found out this time we drove for 6,000 people.
Wow, that's impressive.
Which is a good turnout from last time. I mean, we had a little bit more last time, but you know what? Considering, it was Cinco de Mayo weekend, you had the Kentucky Derby, you had the Knicks Knicks playing, and then you have UFC that night. I think we did pretty well.
Yeah, that's one. Yep, that's one way you can put it.
So, a few memorable moments for me that night was in the opening bout of the MMA portion. We always do grappling and MMA portions. The grappling bouts were done. We had 14 grappling bouts, but they were done in about an hour and 45 minutes, which is the fastest I've ever seen. That's
good.
I love it. And then when it came to the MMA portion, we had originally 9 bouts scheduled. But unfortunately, we originally had 11 scheduled, but one of them got cut right before the event started, and then another one got cut, unfortunately, right before their fight actually started.
Mm-hmm.
But a few memorable moments was in the first bout, because it's amateur fighting also at some of these fights. I mean, some of these bouts were amateur fights. And one of the things they do, they always reach out, the opponents reach out gloves to show respect. The guy in the blue corner, I don't remember the names off the top of my head. He, reached his glove out for respect. The guy in the red corner did the same thing. And mind you, the bell rang also. He tried to do the same thing. Sucker punched him. He got down. The guy in the blue corner got down. And then he had him in the coquina clutch. And unfortunately, the crowd was not happy with that move. To the point where, as I was announcing, the official decision, I think it was 30 seconds into round number 1, here is your winner. I couldn't hear myself over the PA system in that place.
Wow, that's impressive.
That was insane. And we had another fight that happened, but it didn't happen in the cage. No. It happened in, I remember the section so well. It was in section 16, aka the crowd, as 2 females started going at it, and then it escalated to over 40 people getting ejected. Now, mind you, I'm sitting at cage side, in between the fights, because we were going by them, so fast. All of a sudden, I hear the crowd going, oh! I'm like, what the hell is going on? What the hell's going on? We all look over, and we see, everyone's standing up and looking over, and we see the brawl happening in the crowd. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Okay, I've gone the entire show without one bad dad joke. This is my one bad dad joke.
Say it.
Were they confused and wanted wrestling there?
Get out. But no, it was bad. The brawl happened for almost 20 minutes.
Do they know what caused it?
It was two women going at it back and forth.
Okay, yeah, that kind of answers the question right there.
It escalated to 40 people.
Jesus Christ.
But I'm not to toot my own horn, but honestly, just hearing this stuff actually made me feel really good the entire night. So,
well, no, go ahead, because I did have a question actually on it, but go ahead.
Sure. So throughout the night, I was here. Obviously, I'm hearing from the people that are in the crowd, and also some of the fighters and the commission and whatnot saying, you're an awesome announcer. You're great. You're great. You're great. But the moment that got me was one of the daughters of the crew workers for us. Little 8-year-old girl looking up to me and said, "You're awesome. You're better than Bruce Buffer." I'm like, huh? I'm like, that just made my nights.
Well, let me ask you this now. Now you've done, what is this, your 4th or 5th one up there?
I've been going up there for 6 years.
6 years. Okay, I was close.
So this is event number 12.
Okay. I know you've told me you told me at the previous ones, the other acts that have been there. Motley Crue, WWE, AEW, this, that, and other thing. Does it feel weird for you every time you walk in there, you're standing on the same grounds as some of the biggest names in the entertainment world and some of the biggest names in the professional wrestling world?
Well, not only that, but also to pull back the curtain a little bit that not a lot of people know about. In the hallway outside of it, and the hallway behind the the stands, there's actually a huge white brick wall that has all the band's signatures on it.
Have you signed it yet?
I should have. But it is confirmed they are going back up there for a 3rd time in September. So damn well I'm signing that wall when I get up there. But no, just like looking at the wall, you see, obviously I saw WWE in the corner. Right below them was Bon Jovi, Aerosmith, Luke Bryan, Rascal Flatts, Lady Gaga, Adele, Lord, and I'm talking about Lord.
But you're forgetting the biggest name of all.
Billy Joel was on that wall. Actually, he has his own fucking banner in the arena.
No, I'm saying you're forgetting the biggest name of all that's been there.
Who?
Ryan Peterson.
No, the biggest one there of all, which I'm surprised I didn't see his name on the wall, Tony Orlando.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But no, just like being in there, and the staff in Mohegan Sun is phenomenal. I know I say this a lot, but I do so many events, throughout the year, and I will say this to the day I die or retire, whichever one comes first. Anytime I do shows at Mohegan Sun are literally the best times I've ever best shows I've ever done. Because of the history that Mohegan Sun has, especially for me personally, with going up there as with my mother on numerous occasions, seeing concerts. I remember seeing a freaking World's Strongest Man competition in the arena.
Nice.
Years ago. But just a lot of history in that building for me, and also the fact that the food there is phenomenal. So I believe middle of September we're going back there. I'm just waiting for confirmation. But yeah. So that was the past. Let's talk about the future.
Well, the future is now.
Well, the future as in the next few days.
Yes, because guys, let's get into what's going on this Saturday over in Melville, Long Island. Yes, folks, for the first time in a long time, I'm actually talking about going to a show on Long Island.
Hey!
This guys happening May 13th over in Melville, Long Island. Creative Pro Wrestling presents their next show called Homecoming. Obviously, our very own Ryan Peterson, who's right there, will be the esteemed ring announcer. And folks, the biggest part of that show, the biggest part of that day, actually, I will not do this one because I think that if I do it, it will be a disservice. So I would like to,
you're gonna let me talk about it?
I was setting you up for it. let me have the gentleman who will be honored to be roasted by this guy.
Don't remind me.
As you're talking about that, I'm actually going to pull up the graphic. So whenever you're ready.
So first of all, unfortunately, tickets are not available for this because we sold out not once but twice. However, we can confirm, and by we I mean Creative Pro Wrestling, that the event may be sold out, but we will be streaming the entire event live and for free on the Major Pod Network's Twitch channel. And appearing said night, there's a reason why it's actually what? Let me talk about a few of the matches first before I talk about our featured guest of the evening.
Yeah.
So, because I kind of want to give the fans who aren't going to be there, but in person, but will watch it, just a little taste of what to expect.
Actually, Ryan, while you do that, I'm actually going. Not that I'm hold on, because I don't want this to come off that I'm not interested. Because you know I'm interested, you know I will be there. But I just want to go find one quick graphic to pull up for what we're going to talk about in a bit. But I'm still going to be here. I'll be in the background. Okay, so it's going to be just you, full screen.
Okay, so. Oh wow, that actually worked. So anyway, on Saturday, May the 13th, Creative Pro Wrestling presents Homecoming. Now, already scheduled that evening. It's a championship unification match as the current Creative Pro interim champion, the Dominican Destroyer Vargas, takes on the current Creative Pro champion, Bryce Donovan. Both titles, but only one will come out as the true Creative Pro champion. Also, in tag team action, we have the international pop star Becca teaming up with Ava Everett as they take on the team of the Notorious Mimi and former TNA Knockouts champion Angelina Love. Yes, you heard that correctly. Angelina Love is coming to Creative Pro. Also on said night, as revealed on Creative Pro's weekly episodic TV series on their YouTube channel, which I highly recommend subscribing, just saying, Cap TV, the current Creative Pro Mayhem medal holder, Evil Kip, which by the way is coming up on 1 year since obtaining said medal, will be putting his medal on the line against the sweeper, Eddie Pravetti, in a lumberjack match. Now, the question will be, will the year-plus reign of Evil Kip continue, or will the sweeper pull off the upset? And let's just say, sweep the victory underneath him. Also, after months and months and months of going back and forth, constant bickering, constant fighting, and numerous counters leading into double pinfalls, disqualifications, all that fun stuff, this is finally going to happen and end once and for all as Dirty Bulk Bronson takes on the Silver Sniper TJ Crawford in a Ravens Rules match. And, funny, mention Ravens Rules because the special enforcer for said match is ECW legend himself, Raven. So that could be a fantastic matchup between the two of them. Also, as announced last week, the Creative Pro Television Championship will be on the line as the current champion himself, the GOATest of all time, Bobby Orlando, defends it against the lead singer of professional wrestling and one half of Adrenaline Express, Eric J, and former Creative Pro Television champion, mind you, Eric James. Will the GOATest title reign continue, or will James add another reign to his resume? Also, in a triple threat tag team action, for the Creative Pro Tag Team Championships, the current champions, CPA and Kevin Tibbs, the Midlife Express, not the Midlife Crisis as I accidentally called them that last event, defends their titles against the Even Stevens and Vlogbro University VBU. So the real question is, will Midlife Express continue their reign? Or will either the Even Stevens or VBU become tag team champions once again? Also, we have I kid you not, a chick-off show, or chick-off show, I think it's called, at 7:30, as Jay George takes on, and I kid you not, folks, the 76-year-old former AWA star making his long-awaited Creator Pro debut, Sheik Donovan. I kid you not, this is actually happening on the pre-show. I'm excited for this shit. But folks, the reason why it's called Homecoming is because appearing that night is someone who is a Creator Pro alum, has traveled around the world in numerous promotions, and happens to be a world champion. John, will you do the honors? Oh my goodness! It is the one and only, the AEW World Champion himself, the Devil himself, Mr. He's better than you, and you know it. You damn better know that. Excuse me 1 second. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. Now, for those who are going to be in attendance, as you can see right there on the graphics, but, if you can't read it, don't worry, I'll say it for you. This is the actual official pricing list for the MJF meet and greet, which will take place at 6 p.m. on Saturday, May 13th at All Sports in Melville. So, right then and there, you have $100 for an autograph, $100 for a photo, $150 for a combo, and $150 for an autograph on either a Jazzwares figure, Micro Brawler, or a championship belt, or any championship belt.
I would not recommend bringing a WWE title because he may roast you for that.
Not only roast you, he might throw it in the garbage, he might light it on fire, he might throw it into the traffic and let the 18-wheelers run it over with their tires. Should I continue?
No, I get your point.
Okay.
But guys, it's going to be a fun event on Saturday.
I cannot, and also, as I said to John off the air, I kind of made a little purchase to make me sound a little bit more professional, especially with the amount of people who are expecting this coming Saturday night.
Well, I'll tell you right now, you're gonna be on cloud 9 on Saturday. I'll tell you right now.
Damn right I will, because Melville, and also, I might say this during the show, may not. I don't care. I'll say it right here. This is kind of a special one for me because I grew up, and actually I not only worked there, but also grew up in Melville, New York. I actually right down the road in Huntington Station, New York. So it feels like, I'm doing an event back home, and it feels surreal.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fun event. It's going to be a blast. It's actually, I think, my first Creator Pro show in 2023.
Yes, it is. Because the last time you went to a Creator Pro show, you were sitting in the corner marking out to Alex Riley.
And you were too, so don't throw me under the bus on that one.
No, I wasn't. I was actually working the show.
Okay, but you laughed when I did it. I wasn't marking out that much. I was going, yay. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm going to get into this quickly. I'm sorry. I'm going to say this right now on the show. Alex Riley's theme music in WWE of Say It To My Face, I think is one of the most underrated theme songs out there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care where I am. As soon as I hear that play, it puts me in a goddamn good mood. Woo! But guys, I want to get into some other stuff that we have coming up as far as independent shows that I'll be going to as a fan. And also I want to get into the next convention that was just announced basically about an hour ago from Mr. Tommy Fierro. So we'll get into the announcement of the next convention being held by Mr. Tommy Fierro, because on the heels of a successful 80s WrestleCon comes 90s WrestleCon.
Ooh.
Happening Saturday, September 30th, over at Rockaway Mall in Rockaway, New Jersey. Now, folks, if Saturday showed me anything about 80s WrestleCon, you're going to want to get your tickets for this event real fast.
Oh, yes.
I mean, yes, granted, we still have some time because that's not until September. And by that point, Tommy will probably have around another 55 shows by that point.
Maybe 60.
We also have, I will be, as I said, folks, earlier, yes, I'm going to a show on Long Island this week, but unfortunately that shit comes to an end because next week I'm back in Jersey again.
Yeah.
Back in Jersey, and not only for Pro Wrestling Magic, because they present Mambo number 5, which, by the way, Ryan, I just want to go through this card quickly because this card is, especially the main event for this card, is an odd match. Okay.
Okay.
The main event for this card, well, I don't know if it's the main event, but it's the headline match that they're touting it. It's a first ever tag team war match. Ready to hear who's going to be in this match?
Sure.
On one side, you got the king of the, and I'm gonna say it how it is, so I don't care. You got the king of the fucking North and Danny Moff teaming with the world's largest veteran in Kerr, taking on the team of the Revolver, Alex Ryman, and your new Pro Wrestling Magic heavyweight champion, the finisher, Steve Pena.
Jesus Christ.
I'll go through the rest of the matches here quickly. Got the Brooklyn Outlaw Donovan taking on Smiley for the Dark Arts Championship. The tag team titles will be on the line as Death Row will take on the team of the Rabid Daddies, which, in case you don't know who that is the team of the Honey Badger himself, Ryan Mooney, and the Thick Daddy himself, Andy Brown.
Okay.
Journey Burke takes on Vicious Vicky. For the Tri-Wizard Championship, Project Mayhem with Trixie takes on RTB. In the first of many White Glove challenges, Nola Catano, I think his name is.
No, yeah, I remember seeing this one. It was Nolo Catano and Trey Felipe.
You also are going to have Jackie Black taking on Travis Jacobs with Tony Ice in his corner. And for their YouTube taping match, Shotgun Adams takes on Hussein Jafar.
Hussein Jafar.
Yes. So, guys, that all happens next week. And then next Sunday, I'll actually be going to my first ever my first ever pro wrestling show. Wow. My first ever NFW show on Sunday, May 21st.
It's May, not February.
Huh?
It's not February.
NW. Oh, what did I say?
You said February.
Oh, it's another wrestling show.
In the tri-state area.
Not tri-state area, and that's not Baltimore, Maryland. But guys, like I said, we're gonna be at a lot of shows. Definitely come by, say hi. I'm not going to be having a table at Magic, but if you would like to buy a bag, I'll have the bag with me in my car. That won't look too shady at all, me giving you a bag of coffee on the side of Bergen Avenue. I think Ryan just zoned out for a second.
I did, actually.
Thank God you just missed what I entirely just said.
I can go back and watch it.
Okay, I'll just tell you right now because once I know you hear it, I know you're gonna roast me for it. I said, that if people want to buy coffee, I'll have it in the car with me. And I said, yeah, it's not gonna look too shady, me handing somebody a bag of coffee on the side of Bergen Avenue.
They've probably seen worse.
Exactly. But guys, I've said this before on the show, and I'm going to say this again. Go support independent wrestling. Because you don't know if you're going to a show at Ridgefield Park or whatever, or not Ridgefield Park, you go into a show at the Mecca or whatever building you go to a show to. You don't know if that star is going to end up being in WWE or AEW or Impact Wrestling or Ring of Honor or New Japan or whatever. But go support, because I'm going to go back to a comment, the first guest we had when we made our comeback a couple weeks ago. Billy Fetsky, owner of Titan, said it, and it stuck with me. You look at WWE, you look at AEW. Those guys weren't born and they said, "Oh, we're going to just plop you right into WWE." How do you think guys like how do you think guys like Seth Rollins, Jon Moxley, MJF. How do you think they all got to where they did?
Well, according to some people, all they did was show and said, "Hey, I want to work for WWE." Hey.
My point is this: they all had to go through the independent scene. The people who you watch on TV, 95% of them had to go through the independents. Had to put the grind in to go through the independents. So guys, go support indie wrestling. That's all I'm going to say. Am I wrong on that, Ryan?
No, you're absolutely right.
And so we got all that. Was there anything else we wanted to get to?
Not that I know. I think we covered everything, really.
So why don't we do this? We'll do final thoughts and we'll sign off for the night. How's that sound?
Sure.
Now, Ryan, let me throw this to you first, actually, because I want to set something up back here. So I'm going to throw this to you. Final thoughts. What do you have coming up, and where can people find you on social media?
All right. Well, so first of all, great topic. Great topics between myself and Jon tonight. Especially talking about WWE returning to Puerto Rico, and then hopefully coming back yearly. Talking about the indie scene, great having DMZ Promotions on here. David Zubin talking about what he's got coming up next weekend in Jersey and Baltimore. You can find me at Instagram at WrestlingMC. You can find me on Twitter, boom, right down below. This Saturday, excuse me. I'm on the mic once again with Creative Pro Wrestling in Melville. Very excited about that. As of right now, the only date I have available is June 25th, as Invictus Pro Wrestling teams up with NFW at the Mecca for a massive dual joint event. Because right now June's kind of slacking a little bit right now. And also I thought I'd make this a little preview coming up. Actually a little spoiler. So for those that follow me on social media, you notice not only do I do wrestling and kickboxing announcing, but also I've become a connoisseur of the theater. And it's been talked about this for a while. I wanted to do this with a friend of mine, but then for some reason I'm going to be straightforward, he kind of ghosted me, disappeared. I don't know what happened. But I decided I'm going to actually be starting a musical theater podcast. And I'm calling it The Curtain Call. Because basically it will be about, besides all the shows I've seen, my personal top picks, my personal worst picks, especially with the Tony Awards coming up next month. I might be doing a little review of the Tony Awards as well as my personal predictions. And also possibly trying to get some exclusive interviews from those in the theater community, whether it's ensemble members, leading members, or even...
That's a thumbs up.
Oh, that's a thumbs up? Okay. Or that's like a clapping hand. I don't know what it is. She'll probably tell us tomorrow.
Yeah, one more thing.
But because the reason why I wanted to do this is because there are theater podcasts out there, and theater podcasters, and don't get me wrong, they're great. But the problem is, those are the ones that are actually in the theater community, like those who actually have done theater or do theater or anything else in general. But there's really none out there for from a fan's perspective, an outsider perspective, who knows a thing or two about entertainment. And that's what I kind of want to bring to, to the public, a different view of theater. Because if people see, if people watch the podcast and they say, "Oh, this is from a theater," a theatrical perspective, that's great. But what about the people that aren't I would say classically trained in the background of theater, like myself?
I'll go. Can I go a simple way of doing it and put it in
Sure.
wrestling terms? People who are on the other side of the barricade.
Thank you. Okay, those who actually pay for their seats, actually pay for their tickets at a discounted price. Just saying, that's actually what will be one of the first episodes, and not get invited by the show and brag about it, as I've seen other podcasters do. Just saying.
I just have one question to ask.
Sure.
First of all, Another comment coming in from Jessica.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Jessica. It's coming soon, probably. And I'm thinking of what you're going to asking. When is it going to be happening?
Well, I'm only asking for one reason.
I know. I gotta talk to the network to try to get it rolling.
First of all, smart one. I am the network.
I was trying to be professional here, dude.
Hey, we'll call it a spade here. Let's call a spade here.
Yeah. I gotta talk to the network
because you got to give me some time to put everything together and the other stuff. So, folks, definitely stay tuned in to our all of our social medias as well as Ryan. You already got your first listener for that show.
Spread the word. That's all I ask. And actually, one of the first episodes I will do, because I get asked about this a lot. I do the digital. I've seen a lot of shows, and every time I talk to Jon, 9 out of 10 times is, what show you seeing now?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit because it kind of leads into this whole thing with what just happened at work. The joke I made to you at work in regards to the whole Broadway thing.
Yeah.
The one where you won Yankee tickets.
Yep.
Okay, so, folks, and it's gonna be a little bit of a tangent here, but you're gonna get my point in a second.
Yeah. Here we go.
We were at work. When was this? It was last week.
Last Tuesday.
We got an email saying how they had Yankee tickets available. So I was working. I had Ryan come over to my desk to help me with something. I said to Ryan, I said, "Oh, you should enter." Not realizing this guy has a pretty much a 1,000 batting average when it comes to entering lotto tickets, lotteries on the internet for shows. And what was it? An hour later?
Let's just say I entered at 10 minutes before the deadline.
And all of a sudden, we get the email, and the first name I see on the damn thing is your name. And everybody, here's the funny part though. Everybody was turning around to you like, "Oh my God, congratulations, Ryan." Well, okay, you want to tell everybody what my comment to you was?
You son of a bitch!
That wasn't my first comment.
That was your second comment.
What was my first one?
How?
Okay, that was my second one. What was my first one?
I don't know.
You weren't entering for tickets for Phantom.
Oh yeah. This is baseball, not Phantom of the Opera. Dick.
And guys, also, I know Ryan has been to about 9,999 Broadway plays.
No, not that much yet.
Give it time.
I can tell you exactly how I've done since last April. I gotta pull it up quickly. That's hilarious. Yeah, I know. As of last Friday, 53.
Oh, I think I've been to. I'm trying to think here. In 30 years,
and by the way, this coming Thursday will be number 54.
I think in 30 years, I think I've been to a total of 10.
I've been to more shows even before the pandemic.
Well, also, you have to understand something. Yes, I've been to a few shows, but the shows that I've been to Phantom, I've been to Les Mis, I've been to The Lion King. So I've been to the bigger shows. But also, you gotta realize, I also went to a lot of shows back in the day when they were doing Broadway shows at the theater at Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah, where was that Christmas Carol?
No, not even the Christmas Carol. I remember I saw Wizard of Oz there.
Oh yeah, that stuff. But one of the first episodes that I'll be discussing on there is the digital Broadway lottery system that a lot of people don't know about, which is how I actually obtained to see so many shows in a year. So I definitely highly recommend tuning into the curtain call, which by the way will probably take place. I'm calling it right now, probably the end of the month.
Folks, here's a little secret. The reason why Ryan knows about the lotto, he's actually one who runs it.
Nope.
You know I'm busting chops, right?
If I was running the lotto, I'd be a fucking billionaire right now.
But guys, I think it's safe to say we can also now make this announcement as well. The new ATR network is expanded.
Yep.
Because we will have Ryan's show starting the end of the month, which thank you for that notice. Now I will start working on the intro for you.
You're welcome.
And wow. Wow, here's an interesting thing.
Huh.
Wow.
You're missing out, trust me.
But we also will have, more than likely, we will also have the return of sports balls happening. Yes,
Oh,
right. We're bringing back sports balls.
Oh, God.
And other shows as well, but those will be way more than one. But guys, I appreciate. Actually, let me do my final thoughts quickly. Fantastic show tonight. I want to thank David Zubin for hopping on with us. Go catch him next weekend at the Wrestle Show in New Jersey, Middletown. All the information was on the website. We actually had Richie Sorrentino on the show last week, so you're definitely going to want to see that. Catch him also at Baltimore Celeb Fest happening the next day. You can catch Ryan ring announcing this Saturday for Creator Pro. I'll be there as a fan. Next week you can see me as a fan because I will not be in the ring yet. I've still been wanting to get into the goddamn ring. Going to Pro Wrestling Magic and it's NFW, right?
Yes.
Okay, I finally said it correct this time. Phew.
Were you a little stumped? Were you a little stumped?
But I'm bumped. But guys, I appreciate all the love and support. It means a lot. Definitely catch us. If you missed anything from tonight's episode, definitely go back to our YouTube page or go back to our Facebook page. You can get the replay of it. Hit the like button, hit the share button, share it with your friends, your family, whoever. Let them know what you guys hear here every Tuesday night. As myself, Ryan, and Costa, when he does come back, we'll talk to you guys about when we talk all things pro wrestling, all the way from the indie scene to your main event of WrestleMania and everything in between. But actually, before I even do that, let me mention my Twitter account since I mentioned Ryan's. Yeah, that's where you can find me. But guys, thank you for all the support. Thank you for everybody who commented tonight. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to me and Ryan as well. And definitely check out everything we have coming up because, guys, not only do we have a lot of more shows coming up for you guys, we also have a lot of interviews coming up as well.
Absolutely.
I know next week alone we have 3 interviews lined up. So, yeah. So you're gonna be seeing a lot of us in the next couple of weeks. But guys, again, we appreciate all the support. And again, guys, last time I'm gonna say this: if you like to buy your coffee, definitely give it. Definitely, you can buy it. $15 for a regular bag. 2 bags are $28. More than 2 bags, we will discuss about prices on that. Also, I forgot to mention this before. If you like to buy a bag and you're doing it through Facebook, please provide your zip code so we can give you the proper stuff here.
Actually, more the fact, give us, not only give us your zip code, give us your address so we can give you the correct total amount, including shipping and handling.
I totally agree with you. That Jessica, thank you so much for catching us tonight. It does mean a lot. But guys, definitely, if you'd like to try the coffee, you definitely can. It is.
And also remember, it's nut free. It's straight from the coffee bean. It's smooth. It's delicious. Either hot or cold, you name it. It's freaking amazing.
But guys, again, thank you for everybody who watched us tonight. It does mean a lot. You can catch the replay.
If you get paid to watch us? Since when?
I forgot. We're getting paid now, I guess.
Yay! No,
I think I got to add a couple more zeros.
Which way, left or right?
Yes.
Okay.
But for Ryan, I'm Jon. In the words of Billy Joel, life's a set of hellos and goodbyes. Unfortunately, it is time to say goodbye right now. But don't worry, guys. We'll see you guys here next Tuesday, same time, same channel.